Mr. Amrendra Kumar.
Thank you. Thank you, Urmi. And first of all, let me thank Policy Times and VK for organizing this and inviting me over here. On the first note, let me just quickly correct a couple of things. As Ramky, we are the largest waste management company in India. And we handle almost 7 million tons of waste every year. And we are one company which is also ensuring that the Singapore stays clean the way it is, because we handle the entire city cleaning, airport, and operations of Singapore as well. So whenever you visit the Changi airport, always feel proud that there is an Indian company which is keeping Changi the way it is, and that company is Ramky. Now coming to the specific subject, what we are here to discuss, and I just want to take a moment to run 2 slides, if I may.
Sure.
So I hope the screen is visible for everyone. So as EPR as a subject is something which is very core to our organization, because we are one of the largest EPR players in this country. And we really have been working on this concept since the time inception, since the concept started to come up. We believe that as EPR, as a concept, is a fantastic and a beautiful collaboration model. And it's a collaboration across spectrum, across agencies, across bureaucracy. So on one hand, we have the producers, we have mass consumers, we have the informal sector, the rag pickers, which Mr. Pandey is going to talk about, and I also have a short story to share over there. We have these urban local bodies, we have the waste management agencies like us, we have recyclers like us, and we have co-processors like us. So we are present across these 3-4 spectrums, and we have the regulators like CPCB or MOER. It's a beautiful concept, and the thread runs across all these 8 stakeholders. And unless all these stakeholders are completely aligned and see a single version of its execution, the beauty of EPR will still remain on the paper, while we'll have some of these shining cases somewhere in the country. So this is something which we always look at as an organization, that yes, EPR has been there across the world and EPR has been there in India, but has it been able to really solve the problem on ground? Probably no. And these are just 2 pictures. One from a global example, which is very, very well displayed. I'm sure you all have seen this picture. And the second one from a city which I don't want to name, but it's known as the innovation hub of India. But look at how the plastics is being handled in the innovation capital of the country. So while there is so much which has been done, but there is so much more which is supposed to be done. So that brings me to what as a company we believe can drive EPR to achieve its ultimate objective, which is to achieve true circularity. First and foremost, infrastructure creation. Unless we create infrastructure, right infrastructure across the country, not just at few centers or few pockets, we will not be able to achieve what it is ultimately destined to. And at this point in time, I just want to talk about a small issue, and there are reports out there. The recycling which is happening today, in the way it is happening today, there is a massive generation of microplastics inside these plants. And these microplastics are ultimately going to inside the people who are actually working on those premises. And after 10 years of working in a plant, which is largely prevalent in India today, the surveys, there is a huge quantity of microplastics which is already getting into these people. That's a problem which nobody wants to talk about, but that's the problem which we want to address by right infrastructure creation. Second and most important is to have those supporting policies. And while we can't push the buck to the agencies, because we are the people who are there, who understand the reality on the ground, we want to work and we continue to work with these regulators to ensure that the right policies are there in place. And while the policies are made, it is important to ensure that there is a regulatory supporting infrastructure also in place to ensure that the policies are executed in the letter and spirit when it comes to execution. We all know what happens in EPR today. While there are companies and there are agencies who wants to do it in full letter and spirit, but we also know that what are the other practices which goes on in the market, which dilutes the overall theme of the way EPR is supposed to be done. Fourth is the operational mechanism. How the EPR which was made in Sweden or the EPR which works in Europe, if we just want to control C and control V in Indian context, it's just not going to work. So the policies needs to be adopted, but it also needs to adapt it to Indian conditions. What works in Sweden will never work in India, or even what works in Delhi will not work in Mumbai. we are a country which is so diverse, having such a different demographic, that even the policies needs to be tailored at regional levels. I don't even believe in national policy. There has to be a regional policy to support the policy, the execution of this entire EPR, and having those right ecosystem catalysts, for which we believe that the MRFs, the source segregation centers, the dry waste collection center, those are the right catalysts. The vehicles which are having 4-pin concepts, those are the right catalysts which will help to drive this entire. And that brings me to how we envision EPR being executed as a company, how we are executing it today. So if you just look at plastics, most of the plastics comes to our material recovery facilities. And then we all know that there are broadly today 3 types. One, where we can't do anything good about them. It has to go for co-processing, either at waste to energy or cement plant. So we run 2 waste to energy plants in India, while there are 3 more which are under construction that will take our total installed capacities to around 150 megawatt. So these plastics get consumed as an alternate fuel in our waste to energy that generates clean electricity. And while it does that, there is a bottom ash which gets created, and that bottom ash we are recycling into pavers. So this is a true circular economy of plastics which cannot be recycled today, given the technological limitations or challenges what we have. There is nothing which goes as waste. The plastics generates electricity, the ash comes out as pavers, and those pavers goes back to the municipal corporation of Hyderabad and Delhi for all the pavements which are being constructed. The second concept which we are working on is on pyrolysis to convert plastics into high quality oil. There are work which has happened in the last 20 years, but we are trying to support some of the new startups which has come up in this space to scale up these technologies so that we can support them, because we handle 6 million tons of municipal waste every year. So we have one of the largest deposits of plastics, if we can even put it that way. And the third wave is upcycling. We run these plastic recycling plants, the easy to recycle plastics like HT, LD and all those PET, which we are converting into granules or into bags or into pavers or tiles or all sorts of things, which can again go back into the market. And while we do that, we take due care that after one recycling, this product can be recycled again. It's not one time we recycle a bag. A garbage bag has a shelf life of hardly 3 months. So if you recycle it once, it will again become a waste after 3 months. So we have to take all those due care to ensure that again after 3 months, what we make can be recycled again. So our plants are with those technologies to ensure that that can be achieved, so that we can recycle it 6, 7, 8, 10 times during its entire life cycle before actually rejecting it into either for waste to energy co-processing or something else. That's what we as in terms of EPR and how EPR can drive circular economy practices. We'll be happy to take more questions around this thing.
Thank you so much.